Action!
Hey everyone, Talan here, your favorite nosy neighbor, and today
I'm Ronnie Hoey. I'm the Executive Director and co-founder of Project Kompass. Welcome to our home.
Welcome to Project Kompass. Come on in.
Hey everyone, Talan here, your favorite nosy neighbor, and today we're taking a more casual approach with one of my friends, Ronnie Hoey of Project Kompass.
Hi everybody. I'm Ronnie Hoey. I'm the Executive Director and co-founder of Project Kompass. Welcome to our home.
Yeah, Sixer and I just recently found out, well, we knew of Project Kompass from you, but we recently took a deeper dive into you and your organization and what you guys do here, and we're a little obsessed. Only because this is the first program that we learned of that does what you do.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah. So we actually, our basic mission is to support young women and babies ages 18 to 24 with housing. When we started this, we thought it would be a great idea just to open a house, create some sort of an extended foster care for adults, and just meet them where they were currently at, try to assist them with education, try to assist them move on and so forth. And lo and behold, over the 4 years, we've sort of warped into something much bigger and much greater than we ever anticipated.
Mm-hmm. So the initial, when you had that first idea, that's not something that a normal person would be like, okay, well, let's try to figure out how we can do that. What sparked that idea for you?
So on a personal note, I was very young. I was I want to say 7, if I remember correctly. So I used to refer to myself as the chosen one in my family. I come from a very large family, a lot of siblings, and my youngest sister was disabled. And so my mom, being a young mom with 7 children within 9 years, sort of chose me to help take care of my sister. So from the age of 7, I was feeding her, dressing her. I was putting her on her school bus every day before I could even get ready for school myself. I shared a bedroom with her. She could not speak. I spoke on her behalf. So I knew from a very young age that I needed to do something. I needed to help other people. And so that sort of transferred into me being 11 and my mother volunteering me to take care of my neighbor's 3 kids because the mom left. And so I found myself from 6 in the morning to 6 at night taking care of babies, changing diapers, and I was only 11. Which meant, I worked 60 hours a week. I was getting $35 a week to work, and I paid $20 to board a room. So I learned very, very young that, I need to work, I need to inspire others, I need to help others. And so I think caring for people so young, I wanted to grow up to make a difference. I knew at 12 years old, I was going to one day open the Love Shack to bring people in and help care for them.
With that, though, I know we actually live very parallel lives where I have an older sister who has a disability, and same where I didn't have to personally take care of her because she was older than me, but a lot that has to come with family responsibilities that also fell on me.
Yes.
So I can understand where you come from there. One thing that I went through with all of that, though, was a lot of heartache that comes from being the caretaker of things. Did you have any impact with that, creating an organization like this? Anything that has pulled your heartstrings?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest thing is because I was a caretaker at such a young age, I missed out on my childhood.
You missed out on a lot of your childhood. Yeah.
I had to take my sister out on the weekends to play. I couldn't hang out with friends. I literally went through high school with no friends. I didn't do a prom. I didn't do anything that you normally would do. And so one of the things that I took from that is when we embrace a young adult, I make sure that they're living the life of an 18-year-old at this point. So even though we're a program first and foremost, you're also 18. What does an 18-year-old do? What does a 21-year-old do? So we try to teach social responsibility and so forth. So I think it's really important for me that these young people who come to us are not required just to be so focused on a program, so focused on finding housing, so focused on moving on from us. you have to learn what it means to be young.
Yeah, to be a kid.
Mm-hmm.
With that, though, I find that with a lot of people our age, we do have certain prejudices towards teenagers, especially 18, 19-year-olds. What would you tell, what advice would you be able to give to your peers when it comes to being a little bit more empathetic towards that age group?
I have to be honest, so my coworkers and my peers currently, they're all very supportive of that. They understand, first and foremost, the trauma that a lot of these young adults have experienced that have gotten them into our front door. So they're very, very empathetic about that. I would, we try to embrace them, we try to meet them. It doesn't mean that we don't get disappointed. It doesn't mean that, we can't see through the stories or, I don't want to say lies, but,
The teenage drama.
The teenage drama. And so we sort of give them a break because I think with our age and our experience, we've been there, right? We can tell when the truth is being shared with us or when there's a story being told. So we're just supportive of that. And what we find, honestly, most times they come back to us. They acknowledge that, okay, wait a minute, maybe I wasn't telling the truth, or
it is growth.
Yeah, it is growth, absolutely.
So one thing that I read on the website, right, is yes, you're offering the teens and the babies a home and a safe place to live, but you're also nurturing dreams. Yes. Can you talk a little about that?
Yeah, again, I think realistically speaking, raising 3 daughters as a single mom myself, I realized at the age of 18 or 19 or even 20 or 21, you don't know what you want to do for the rest of your life. And so often we get a young adult that comes to us and she talks about wanting to be an eyelash tech or a welder or, even a class 1 truck driver. But they never had the means or they never had the support. They were told that it's impossible. So we truly encourage education first and foremost over finding a job. And if they're willing to give it a shot, even if it doesn't work out, even if they realize after committing their time, their attention to becoming something they thought they were and it doesn't work out, you try something else. And so we're very supportive of that. We realize that no one at the age of 18 through 24 should have to commit to something for the rest of their lives.
So school resources and things like that, right? How do the girls get connected to different schools? How are school applications and trainings and things like that paid for?
So right now, with some of the state schools being free, it has made it a lot easier. We also offer, because of our own experience in the past 4 years and seeing the challenges that some of them face with getting financial assistance and so forth, we started a Jumpstart Scholarship Program. So we collaborate with the Aldridge Family Foundation and the Greater Lowell Community Foundation, and in just 3 sessions, we've given out $77,500 in scholarships.
Wow.
And that is open to the Greater Lowell and Lawrence communities. So it's not just for our residents, although I would have to say at least half a dozen of our own have received those scholarship funds.
That's great. So what about networking with community, local businesses and things like that for internships? Is that something that you look into with the girls?
We haven't done that yet, but I think as we grow and add to our program, it's something wonderful. So we're still taking baby steps, and we realize, and this is the message that I share with a lot of the other outside organizations and service providers, we find and believe that we're so good at what we're doing, we're reactive and responsive. There's an issue, we're going to deal with it head on. And we're so good at that. But we're not good at everything, and so we need our partners to come on board. We need to collaborate with anyone and everyone who has a service to provide to enhance someone else's life.
What services are you lacking so far? Well, not so far. What services do you think you're lacking, or do you need help with now?
Clinical support.
Okay.
We sort of service that out, and we make suggestions to where they can go to therapy and try to make those connections.
Okay.
I'm working and talking with Bob Cox at the Bridge Club. how do we bring some of what he's doing in to those folks that need it, with addiction support and so forth, not just our residents, but as a greater community. Priscilla at the Wish Project, not only are we neighbors, we're so supportive of each other.
Yeah.
You know, how can she come in and assist our young girls, and how can we assist them? So there's a variety. Merrimack Valley Food Bank, they just continue to, you know, add to our program so we can continue you know, serving. So it's again, it's something that we're building on to identify today exactly what we need. It's really, it's difficult. Healthy families for our moms and the support they get from their case managers, because we can't do it all. We don't have the means.
How many years are you going on now?
We just finished 4 years.
Wow, 4 years, and then you have the 2 family homes.
We have
here?
2 homes, yes.
So we're on Nesmith Street now, and then the other one is in, where is the
North
other one?
Chelmsford.
North Chelmsford. And then the farm?
So we have Project Farm that's up in Derry.
Can we talk about the farm?
Oh yeah, yes. It's just incredible. We have now welcomed over 700 youth up to the farm for a hands-on experience, working with the animals. They're mucking the stalls. They're you know, picking up poo. They're feeding the animals. It's just incredible. Honestly, I can't say enough of what it does to you mentally and being in that environment. There's over 40 acres. You know, going in and actually experiencing what it's like to touch an alpaca, or
oh my goodness,
or have a horse eat from your hand. It's incredible. Even the chickens, I mean, personally speaking and selfishly speaking, my Sunday mornings, every Sunday morning, snow, rain, it doesn't matter, I am having my cup of coffee with the chickens.
Aww.
It's incredible. So Project Farm is an area that we're looking to expand. Organizations are more than welcome to reach out to us. We will bring them up there. We have an incredible farm manager, Martha, and of course Dave, co-founder of Project Kompass. He is there, and he is sort of Farmer Dave at that point, educating the kids and just making it fun.
I'd love to see him in that role.
Yeah.
So before we go on with Project Farm, can we talk about the group that you serve with Project Kompass? What groups do you serve here?
So again, you know, our focus initially was young adults, but we opened right, you know, at the beginning of COVID, and there was a sudden need for housing for young women, and so we jumped on board. Sadly, we had young women who were sort of couch surfing, or they were being trafficked, and during that time, they were then suddenly literally thrown in the streets. Wow. So we started that, and we stuck with women. And we've continued with women for certain reasons. We are technically 18 to 24. However, you know, one of our young adults just turned 26. What are we going to do, displace her? Right. Absolutely not. She came from Job Corps. She has no family here. She's not even from the state. So we sort of make those adjustments based on the need. And as you know, you met Mimi earlier, our house mom, 77. You know, Mimi is wonderful. She's our second house mom here. So not only do we take advantage of her ability to serve these young adults, we're also assisting her. So we are somewhat flexible. We like to keep within our core mission of 18 to 24, but we understand when you age out at 24 and you don't have a child, there are very few services, few services for young women and men with regards to housing other than, you know, the shelter.
And then how do they contact you? Or how do they get involved with Project Kompass?
We get a lot of referrals from agencies, hospitals, schools.
Okay.
We have school children. We're getting, you know, self-referrals. Interesting, one of our first residents, who has now moved on and is grown up a little bit, she actually is working in nonprofit right now, and she referred one of her clients to us, so we have her client. So you know, the women who have gone through our program, you know, in the moment they may, you know, leave disgruntled for some reason, or, you know, you didn't do this or you didn't do that, but I'll tell you, almost 100% of the time when we hear back from them, they realize, okay, the lesson that was learned or the support they received. So it's quite interesting to see it come back to us already in just 4 years. Absolutely. So what we find, it's important to understand that Project Kompass does not support on-site clinical. We don't have on-site clinical support here. And not only that, but as a founder of Project Kompass, I can only share my life experience, right? I was that 24-year-old without realizing it until I started Project Kompass. I was that 24-year-old with 2 kids couch surfing. I was staying with friends. I didn't have the family that said, okay, come back home with me, let me help you out. They weren't worried if I had food or not. So I feel like I was a survivor of homelessness myself. I recall at one point going down for daycare assistance. I didn't get any child support or anything. I went down for daycare assistance, and they told me that I made too much money. I was making just under $18,000 a year to take care of my rent and my children and so forth. And that my only option was to quit my job and collect benefits. So I went to work. I'll never forget, I went to work that Monday, and I spoke to my boss. I asked him, please, would you give me a $4,000 raise so I can continue working and taking care of my kids? And he said no. So I quit. I quit my job thinking I'm going on welfare. It's easier. By the end of that day, and I'm going to say his name out loud, Tom Rose, he was the VP of Sales and Marketing, heard that I quit, and he knew what kind of work I was. He offered me a job and gave me an $8,000 increase.
Wow.
Yeah, and that changed my life. And that's when I no longer had to rely on friends. I didn't have to room with somebody. I didn't, I was no longer homeless or in desperate need. So there's certain trauma that comes with that. The young people we welcome, it's sad because there's so many levels. There's emotional abuse, there's physical, there's sexual abuse, a lot of DV from just family members. It's heartbreaking. We see bipolar, we see multi-personalities, we see all kinds of diagnoses. We try to work with each of them, assuming that they're getting the therapy and the counseling that they need, and they're following their medication regimen. We're good. But we have had a couple situations where the level of support that was needed was so far beyond what we could even offer that we had to refer them out to different programs. The paranoia is hard because if you're dealing with someone with schizophrenic or paranoia, all of a sudden everyone in the house they're having issues. Or if you're dealing with someone with suicidal tendencies and thoughts, well, that affects everyone else. And it's important to us that every single person is safe, because that's my commitment. I'm welcoming you to a safe, warm home, family environment. So we've had some situations where we knew within the 30 days we couldn't assist.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. The thing that most people think about is having a safe, nurturing environment like that. We think that it should be standard, right? And then we fail to forget that a lot of us did not grow up with that. And same story as you with that, with me and my story. We can talk about that another time.
And I think it's important. I again, when I speak to anyone that comes into my life and my program, I speak the truth. It's really important. I'm not embarrassed by my story. I'm not embarrassed by the domestic violence I went through with my husband. I'm not embarrassed by it. I survived it. I'm stronger, and I'm making a difference. Right. But some of these young adults, they were brought up in an environment where you can't share, you can't talk, and so they come to us and they have to build trust. But I will tell you, honestly, within the 30-day, we do it like a 30-day trial period to see if this program is a fit for them. It gives them time to adjust before we start putting those goals in place or those expectations of working or in school. But it also allows us to observe, to see if there are those underlying issues that we cannot support. But as we grow and we get different service providers helping us, maybe those are areas that we could sort of implement and sort of control a little bit better.
So do the residents of the girls here at the other house, do they take place too at Project Farm?
They're more than welcome to, but the Project Farm, they're always asking to go to the farm. We've had just a couple events up there. We did like team building events, light off fireworks. We were there at nighttime. There's a hot tub. They go in the hot tub. It's just an experience for them. So they have been there. But we really need to start implementing more of that. Give them the opportunity. We have a former resident who volunteers. Well, I shouldn't say volunteers because she gets paid for her time. So she goes up there when we're doing the farm days, and she assists and she shows these young kids how to work with the horse or how to groom a horse and so forth. So yeah, they have the opportunity to go up there. We have thoughts about bringing some type of a program into Project Farm. We have talked to maybe 2 organizations that do sort of horse therapy. So that is something, if we get additional engagement with the program, and especially in the summertime, and more people are interested, we would definitely look into growing that and creating more opportunity and programming up there.
Yeah. Do you see with the increasing numbers, right, of the, I'm going back and forth a little bit.
It's okay.
And we can edit it as we go.
Yeah.
But with the growing homelessness population that we see in the area, are you seeing more teens affected by it?
We are. And there has been a trend, especially with the referrals that we receive. There has been sadly a trend of high school students. Last year alone, I think we brought in 3 young adults from the Greater Lowell TAC. And when you meet with them and you hear their stories, they're just babies. We have a young girl who's still at the high school. She's graduating in May, and she was failing every single class last year. She's been with us for over a year and a half. Again, we go beyond the terms of 6 months or 12 months. We're her family. She is excelling. She's excelling. She finally passed her MCAS. She brought every failing grade up because I'm basically her guardian, so I get the progress reports, I get the updates, I get the weekly Google homework missing notifications. And so I think for the first time she has someone holding her accountable, and there's structure and there's expectations, and she's being called out, if her room is left a mess. So to see the change and the growth in her, she's advocating for herself now. She has a voice. And to see that in such a short amount of time is, to me, is so impressive. It's so impressive. She's working on, she's going away with her friend. She has a boyfriend. And so she's going away in August. We promote family vacations. We promote weekends away. We promote, again, live the life of an 18 or 19-year-old. So she already started her little vacation savings fund, so she doesn't touch her savings. Yeah. So to see that kind of growth, and to actually see firsthand what structure and accountability can do and how it can change someone's life is pretty impressive.
Yeah. I have no idea what to ask you now because I'm so impressed with what you guys do here. I think the emotional toll alone that it goes to the connection that you build, right? Living and taking on strangers at the beginning, and then not knowing what issues
what you're gonna get
come with that, and then just fully taking them on with open arms and fully accepting them and taking over all the responsibilities is incredible. And you don't do it with just one. You have 2 households full.
Yeah. We've welcomed 120 into our program in 4 years. Some of them coming back 2 or 3 times. Someone might look at that as failure. I look at that as growth. The fact, it's just like it would be my own child leaving home and saying, hey mom, I need to come home to reset.
Right.
So we have that. We have a young adult, I think now she's 27, and she fell into hard times. She needs a reset. She's coming in with us for 30 days so we can help her find an apartment and get her back on her feet. So she moves in on Friday. It really is pretty impressive, I think, if you truly open your heart and listen to their stories. Who wouldn't want to help?
Right.
right?
Can we talk about the young moms and the babies?
Mm-hmm.
Do most of your young moms come in pregnant?
I would have to say it's 50-50. So this home was basically purchased because one of our young adults was 4 months pregnant when she joined us in Chelmsford, and we didn't have a program over there to support babies. And we decided that she became like a family member to us, that there's no way we could put her into a shelter. We just couldn't do it. And so we started the Nesmith home. And she was the first one that, 4 months pregnant, she had her child while she was here. So I would say some of them come to us, very much pregnant, and others come to us with a child. We have a 3-month-old right now, we have a 10-month-old and a 1-year-old. So it varies.
Yeah. And then what support do you offer here for the young moms?
So we actually have to really start focusing on that. Most of them, or all 3 of them right now, are connected with Healthy Families. And so their case manager is very, very supportive. Their case manager, meets with them weekly. They help with the daycare assistance and so forth. Just offering parenting classes is important. We are hoping to reach out to NRI and JFI and see how we can sort of collaborate. It's very, very hard because of work schedules and school schedules with the girls. I think this program and these moms could benefit from someone coming over, as you mentioned, doing a baby massage class with them and showing them, different techniques. Coming and maybe giving them a night out, just give them a break and let the moms go to a movie or let them sleep for a couple hours if they're not feeling well. So we do have a couple volunteers that will come over and assist. And Mimi, she'll take any of the babies.
Right. Oh my gosh.
If the girls are showering or cooking and so forth.
I will be a baby cuddler.
Yeah, it's and they're so beautiful. They're just, the babies truly are so beautiful. And you make that connection. It's really hard. And my family comes, my grandkids come in and they connect with the babies. And even years later they're asking me how baby Ace is doing. Baby Ace hasn't been here in 2 years, but they want to see him. So it's quite interesting how they connect with each other and so supportive of each other.
Right. So I think your project Kompass gives, and you feel this 100%, even meeting you and then meeting Mimi, 100%, you guys give the love and the nurturing that a good chunk of city kids are missing out of their lives, which is pretty incredible. So community help wise, if anybody wants to get in touch with you and they want to support, how would they do that?
They can reach out directly through our website, through Facebook. We get a lot of unsolicited knocks on the door. People can show up, they drop things off. I will tell you, we are growing. So one thing we did not touch base on, outside of what we're doing with the housing and our residents, there's a need. There's and it's increasing. There's food insecurity all over the place. There is, of course, housing needs and so forth. We have built, Kathy, who is our community outreach manager, she has built single-handedly a community outreach program, and she is now supporting up to 100 individuals and families every month with food support and baby's essentials. So we've been able to get, extra assistance from the Merrimack Valley Food Bank. We're delivering food. People are coming to our doors and picking up food. That is huge. So we are actually going to build on that. We realize that given what's going on in the world, we need to do more.
Exactly.
And so with that, we recently purchased the Life Connections building on Appleton Street. We realize it's in the heart of so much sadness and so much need. So our focus is going to, go there, build a community center to allow other service providers to come in. Greater Lowell Health Alliance, Greater Lowell Community, Bridge Club for support classes, Wish Project, to do what they do good, They're so good at what they do. Do it there.
Mm-hmm.
Bring your service to an area where it's needed. We're working with so many different organizations right now to tell them, listen, the transitional shelter, they want to have meetings there.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, we're going to have the space. We're going to have a work center for the local communities. We're right next to the charter school. We're next to the STEM school.
Is it going to be one big building that
It's
you're
one big building.
Okay, is it under renovation now?
We are starting renovation, so
Okay.
we're hoping June, July it'll be open.
What is besides? Okay, so I know my brain just stopped for a bit because there was a lot going on with the building.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one big community.
8,500 square feet.
Holy cow!
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to hold offices and meeting spaces.
Yeah. So Project Kompass, we are going to have our offices up on the second floor.
Okay.
It's a smaller space. And then on the first floor, we're going to open up office space for community providers to come in and utilize that space in their services. We're going to have a work center for local kids. There are so many kids in that neighborhood that need the assistance. They might need Wi-Fi access, computer access, printer access. We're going to have a work section for them. I intend on reaching out to the local schools to see how we can assist. There's a woman I'm talking with right now who supports the veterans. She doesn't have space, to do a dinner. We have a kitchen. Cook your dinner there. There's space there. Offer your monthly veterans meeting.
Wow.
Yeah, we truly just want to open it up to the local community. And again, because we're good at this much, we need to be good at this much, right? And so we can only do that if we collaborate and work together.
Yeah. But you get it this much, and it took only 4 years to get to that much, and now you're able to make a big jump.
I know.
Oh, that's going to be really exciting to see. So when the building opens up, we can come for another episode.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. It really is going to be amazing. Mm-hmm. We're excited about it. The back room will be available for large meetings or functions or events. We have up here. There's a lot planned, so we just have to get through the renovations first. And Dave Aldrich, who's the chairman of our board and co-founder, and he's been a friend of mine for over 35 years. He is the reason this all started. I have to be honest. I was settled down in Myrtle Beach, midlifing. I sold my home and I moved. My kids are great, and I'm thinking it's my time. And he called me one day.
He said, "Not happening, Ronnie."
He called me one day. He and I would do a lot of different projects together, and I would support him on different boards. And he said, I'm ready to make a change. He's ready to step down. He was the CEO of Skyworks. And he said, this is my thought. I've done great. I want to find a way to pay it forward. And, I know you're from Lowell. Let's look in your own backyard. What can we do? And he knew of my vision of opening up the Love Shack one day. And so it's because of his support that we were able to do this. And so he's got that corporate mentality, though. So not only myself, but our board member, Laura, worked with him for a long time. We're all connected some way. Another board member was the realtor that sold us his house, and we made a connection. But we have to sometimes say, okay, now slow it down a little bit, Dave. Slow it down. We haven't even opened the center, and he's already, hey, wait a minute, I think there's some real estate for sale, and maybe we can turn these into efficiency units and so forth. So he has great vision. He just has to allow the rest of us to catch up to him. Let's finish one thing at a time. So it's going to be exciting. I'm really, really excited about our growth. I'm excited. We're adaptable. So if there's a need, come just talk to us. Maybe we could help you somehow in some way. So when we do open that center, it is very concerning because, as you know, there's a lot of addiction in the area. We are a dry program, which means even our young adults, we teach them social responsibility. If you're 21 and you go out or you're celebrating, never get into a car if you've had something. Just don't do it. You call home or you call an Uber, so it's going to be the same kind of a setup down there. It's a dry program. We will give all the supports that you need and go from there. It'll be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be something completely different. And especially in that area, it's going to help raise the energy in that area. It's kind of been a crumbling area that people avoid for
certain reasons.
Yeah.
Safety reasons.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you plan on dealing with that?
You know, again, I don't have that nervousness or that fear of being down there at all.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in areas that are probably much more concerning, and I feel if you address a situation and if you're sincere about it, I think people see that.
Yeah.
We're not going down there looking for trouble or you know, whatever. We have had a couple encounters where some of the former clients of Life Connection have showed up at our door, and they're not happy with us because we're not servicing them, or we're not, you know, offering the same type of supports that they were once used to. And, you know, we're not giving them money. First and foremost, we will never just hand out money to anybody. So there have been some exchange of words. But you know what? I take it with a smile, and I just wish them a happy day, and you know, just mind my business. It will be challenging. I think almost every, you know, sort of selectman in the city, they've kind of forewarned us about the neighborhood and the safety and so forth. I think we're just going into it with a different mindset. Like, no, it has to start. Change has to start somewhere. So let's be the change.
Be the change. I think that's great.
I think one of the questions you had asked is how do you identify success, right? And when I was going through that, because that's a question that is asked a lot, right? And it's a typical question, right? How do you identify success? So it's not like, oh my gosh, the number of sales have gone up.
No, you and I are very different with success. It's more heart-like.
Yeah, and so, you know, you simply cannot quantify success when it comes to human life. You cannot.
Right.
You cannot. But that's something that even the chairman of our board is always asking. Well, how do I identify success? We're 80% successful, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? It's success to me is when we had to celebrate that young adult's sort of raise that she got, her increase at work, and she no longer qualified for food stamps. That's success.
It is.
Right? Get them off public assistance. That's success. This young girl who is up, she's in school right now, and she's coming back to us because we are her family, right? She comes to us during breaks and so forth. To me, the fact that she has embraced us as her family, to me, that's success.
Right. But that comes with a few challenges, though, right? Being a nonprofit, because you have to have data and measurable things to report for when you're doing your grants. How do you overcome that?
Well, we include that data. So, for example, if someone is a return resident, she's considered a new resident, and so we start tracking those. How long has she been with us? What is, you know, what's the progress? You know, did she accomplish her goals? So we sort of reset that and we track that all over. But it's interesting because when someone comes back to us for a second time, their goals have changed. They've grown. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, who is this adult? So we get different results. So, and again, we don't take funding from the state or federal government, which allows us to do what we're doing, right? We don't have that red tape. We don't have those barriers. I can open my door to a 27-year-old if need be.
Right.
You know, when someone is 24, they turn 25. You know, when you're in a youth program, that you're done. You no longer get funding. So that sort of truly makes us different, because we actually are able to continue supporting, you know, the young adult who's in need, not quite ready to move forward. And the benefits of it, I know it's only been 4 years, but to get an invite, 1 of 4 tickets to one of our former residents who we had to remove her for the program because she was not adhering to a lot of the guidelines and sneaking out at night and bringing people in the house, and it broke my heart. Yeah, it broke my heart. She was a little older than a teenager. But for her to reach out to me and say, I have 4 tickets to my graduation, she became an LPN, and she invited me, that's success, right?
That's success indeed.
That's incredible.
Sometimes it just needs that unconditional love, that I'm going to be a pain, but still have someone believe in me and trust in me.
And that's I think what we find with, I would probably say, everyone that comes through the door. They don't have they don't have that consistency, right? If they make a wrong choice or wrong decision, they're sort of shunned, or they're put down, or it's a negative reaction that they receive. And they're often quite surprised when they call me, and it's like, I know I didn't leave on good terms, but I said, but you didn't leave on bad terms either.
Right.
You know, when I commit to you, it's not based on your behaviors, it's not based on conditions, it's really not.
Right.
Which I think is really good, but emotionally it's draining also.
With all this love, though, and all of this caretaking that you've been giving out for decades now, how do you fill your cup?
Right now, with my dog.
And the chickens?
And the chickens, and my family, my grandkids. And I have 3 amazing daughters. Sometimes I think, how did I manage to raise 3 incredible girls? Right? I mean, they're successful.
I think we all see how you were able to do it.
But it's incredible, because I didn't receive that same support as a child. I was, paying rent at 11 and get out of the house at 18 and, do what you have to do. And sadly, my mom was an alcoholic, and I was that one that she just, sort of picked on all the time. And when I had my child, I'm like, I'm breaking that cycle. This is my life. And I just feel, honestly, I'm so fortunate to be able to say, I'm going to get emotional.
Yeah.
They're my friends.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky. So that's kind of how I feel.
I think we're all lucky to have you. I think we're all, the community, the girls in the program, during the club, I think we're all extremely lucky to have you. I think that the lives you're going to touch for the next generation, and we were talking about this during setup, that you don't really understand or you don't realize that people are watching you, and they feel your energy, and they kind of tap into what you're doing, but because you're just so humble about all of this, you kind of do it, you just do you kind of deal, right? But the ripple effect of everything that you're doing is so much more, it's deeper than what you realize.
I appreciate that.
And kind of like what makes you success, right? It's that happiness and joy that can't be measured. That's what you're spreading. It really is. It's not even a love shack, it's like a love community.
Thank you.
Bigger than you realize.
I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I think you're incredible in so many different ways, and I feel like people now are so quick to shut down, and sometimes that's even me including, and that's more how would you call it? It's all we know how to do, right? And to have you walk that path where you didn't receive what you're consistently giving is incredible. Yeah. Right, so I wish you all the luck, and I'm so happy that we were able to do this episode today.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you.
And now we can share who you are with the rest of the world, because you are an incredible person.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to see good in yourself,
Of course.
Yeah. I think I definitely get it from my grandma. I can remember stories of her. She would get on the bus. My grandfather would give her, $1 to go down to the local 5 and 10 downtown. And as she aged, she used to fall a lot. And so anytime she fell, someone was always there, helping her. And she would get their name and address and send them a card. And at her funeral, there were hundreds and hundreds of people just talking about the kindness that she shared.
Yes.
My dad was the same way. He would stop in the middle of the street to cross, to help cross someone over. And I definitely think I get it from that side of the family.
Yeah. So the purpose of the show, we talked a little about this earlier, the purpose of the show is to highlight individuals like you who go out there, they put in the work, they show the love, and they do it selflessly. And you're just such a beacon of hope and love in the community that you need to be highlighted. But you're not out there with like bells and whistles, like look at me, I'm doing all this good in the community.
Well, thank
you.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, so you do deserve to be highlighted, and Project Kompass deserves to be highlighted. You guys are doing amazing things in the community.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to revisit. We'll have to revisit next year and see where we are in the growth. I'm so excited
because we're not this anymore. You're like really big. Yeah. So since we're going to finish up the interview now, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I appreciate you actually coming into our home, and even the support that you both give. It's pretty incredible. And again, it takes all of us, to really, highlight the needs and highlight the goodness in people. So I appreciate you coming in.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah. I was actually talking to Sixto before we came in, because I had my firstborn when I was 20, and I didn't have the care and the support and the nurturing figures. I have that now with Linda, who's like my mother figure, but I'm 43. My kids are grown, so it's very different. And I have Sixto, so I'm very lucky there. Yeah. But I get it, and I get the need, and I get emotional listening to your story and listening to the story, your learning about Project Kompass, because I was in need.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna cry.
Yep. But and again, I say that often. I wish I had somebody like me back then, because I didn't get it from family members, right. Or I was told once, my mother said, "Oh, I could throw you in the middle of the desert and you'll figure it out." But I may figure it out, but it doesn't mean that I don't need a mother. Yes. Or I don't need your support. Right. It just, to me, it didn't make sense, because. And I think I chased that a lot too. Like I'm still. My mother has now passed, but I'm still looking for that mother figure, to help me out. I've become that mother figure to others, right? So I will never get that. Sadly, I will never be able to experience that. But at least I can give it to others. And so I understand. Like at 20 or 21 or 22, it's hard. It's hard when you're doing that and you don't have that support. Right. And, you feel so lost and alone, but look at your success, right? Too, you got through it.
I did.
And so even talking about your own experiences, because oftentimes, some of my young adults will look at me and say, "Oh, you don't understand."
Totally understand.
Yeah. I might be driving a nice car right now, or I might have a good job, or I'm able to go, out to a nice fancy restaurant. But trust me, I understand. I understand when I had to feed bag cereal to my kids because I had no money. Or, macaroni and cheese all the time, or a pasta again, or whatever it was. No, I understand. I was there. I know what it's like to be in a violent situation and to be afraid for your life. I know all that. I lived it. So if I can help avoid just one person going through that, I've done my job. Yep. But to be able to help multiple people, it just feels like I'm accomplished. I've truly accomplished something good. So I do take pride in that.
Yeah, and you should.
Thank you.
Yeah, you should. And I think it should be highlighted more.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
So thank you very much for joining us today, and for letting us or teaching us more about Project Kompass. And I can't wait to see what happens in the future.
Same.
Yeah. So.
Same. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for episode number 3 of your favorite Nosey Neighbor, and cannot wait to share this with you. Let us know what you would like to see in future episodes.
Bye.